Hi everyone. I recently had the question on how does multi-choice options work in the rule builder. So we've got a multi-choice here and we've got a group here. And so what the question was is if I come through to rules and I say show group and I say if the multi-choice and it has these options includes or does not include. So I can say does the multi-choice selection include option 1? Then we're going to say group 1 visible is yes, otherwise group 1 visible is no. So we come to here, option 1 shows it, turns it off. 1, 2, 3, finally 1. So that's how, in a simple answer, that's how it actually works. Now, you've got a few more options here. You could say choice, multiple, selection includes, option 3 as well. So those two both have to be set. So we go and update the rule, come back to preview, option 2 nothing, option 1 nothing, option 3 now shows it, so it's only when those two are selected. Now if you come back to the rule, you can do other things like delete that one, and you can do an OR condition, so multi-choice selection includes option 2. So either option 1 or 2, but obviously not option 3. Update the rule, come to preview, so option 1 it shows it, option 2 it shows it, option 3 it doesn't. So it can be either of 1 or 2. So that's how that rule works there. Now if you wanted to take this a step further, let's say, let's just keep that there for the moment, and you wanted to do something really, really complex. I don't have anything at the moment, but you might have something like a whole bunch of conditions that it's just, you don't want to do it through rules, you want to do it through a formula. So the way I would do this is, if you've got a choice control here, what I would actually do is, it helps to actually see what is coming out of this control. So I'll put a label on here and I'd go to insert and form controls, and you'll see here I can't actually insert the choice multiple. Now that's because it is actually an array. So if we come to form controls, you'll see this is an array here. So the first thing I can do is to say convert to string, because the label only understands strings. So then we say choice multiple, and then we go show choices. So create an insert, go to preview. Now we'll see option 1, 2, and 3 come through as the array, converted to a string, which is separated by commas. So now why is that useful? Well, it helps me to debug when I'm sort of building this. So let's go back to rules. We come back to our example here. So if I wanted to convert this to a formula, I would come here and go insert. I'd put a formula in here and I'd say convert to string. Then I'd say choices, choice multiple 1. Now that's the first step. That's converting it to a string. And then I could do something like insert, and I could say, does it contain option 1? Okay, my phone's ringing. Contains option 1. So now let's go and update that rule and see if the same thing happens. Option 2, option 3, option 1 shows the group. So realistically, not a lot of benefit in doing that by itself, but you may have some more complex scenarios. So let's say you might say, let's say you've converted that to string, and you might say you could do something like contains. And let's see what contains is. Contains is the source text and the value. So you're doing contains, this is the source value, or the source, I guess, input. And then you're also saying option 1, and you close your bracket. So what we're then saying is, does the value of what is selected in the choice, the multiple choice, contain option 1? Now what this does is actually changes the operator here. Now it's actually expecting a boolean, because this formula is a contains, which you'll notice contains is actually a boolean response. The formula returns a boolean, so then our rule knows, well, I need to return a yes or a no. So then I can say if it's yes, again, this is a different way of doing it, but you could say if it returns yes, again, option 1 is going to show it, option 2, 3 not going to show it until I select option 1. Now, what else could we do with this? Well, we could also say, you could do something like this as well. And so we could do an and condition, an operator. So we could do something like this as well. So we could do option 1 or option 3. Now either contains option 1 and option 3 together is yes, then it's going to do our rule. Come back to preview, option 1, option 2, option 3 now shows the group. So you're kind of getting a feel for how this could be used, and depends on your complex scenario. So you could do a few different options here, but there's a whole bunch of different things you could do through here. So it's like contains, it could be something like an if-else statement, and so you could convert text and those sort of things. So there are a few different options that you've got. If your logic is getting a bit more complex, that you can put a formula in here. And so a different thing you might say, let's go do something different. Let's say if else. Let's do an if else. So if let's go, let me think about this for a moment. How would I do this? So an if else, what it's looking for is a condition. So it's saying if convert to string. So convert to string equals option 1. Then you have your conditions. So you've got return yes, or then you could say return no, for instance. And so this isn't really a Boolean response. This is just me coming up with something. So if else, oh, I haven't closed that bracket. Oops, if I turned on insert, whoops. So go option 1. So what we're saying is, and we're going to close that bracket there. So what we're now saying is convert to string. The choice is multiple. Now, if choice multiple 1 equals option 1, then it's going to return yes. Otherwise, it's going to return no. It's just a flat out yes or no. Now, yes or no isn't a Boolean response anymore. This is now a text response. So then we'd have to say it contains yes. So going back here again, we say if else convert to string option equals 1. It's going to say yes. And then our string, we want to match and see if it contains yes, otherwise no. Pretty long-winded, but you get the idea. Let's go back and see if this actually works. Yep. Option 2, no. 3, no. Then if you really wanted to check to see how this actually works, you could actually go to your rules. Come to here, you could copy this, make it a variable, and spit it out on, yep. So let's go create a variable, debugging, and you can put this in here. And so basically you just want to check what happens. So we'll put that in there, and we'll go back to our designer, we can show our choices, then we can also put our variable in here, and we can go debugging. So then come back to here, so the response is no. Option 2, still no. Option 3, no. Clicking option 1, it's still no, because it only explicitly wants option 1. 2, no. Sorry, 3, no. 2, no. Now it's saying yes. Now, so through our rules, we could actually do whatever we wanted. We could say, looks good to me. Or you could say, this is not good at all. Now, you'd still have to match this in the rule. Depending if you really wanted this, you could say copy that, update, if it contains that, and then you could grab your rule, your function here, copy this, update this, go to your variable, we'd update this as well. So I could reuse the variable if I wanted to, update. And in fact, how I would do that is to update this is to delete, insert, go to my variable, and go to debugging. So now we actually use the same variable. So then we go to preview, option 1 looks good to me. So you could have some logic, you know, based on them selecting this, you could output a variable that tells you something else. So there are a whole bunch of different things you could start using formals for. We've probably got a little bit off track around the how does the rules work for the different options, but yeah, just a few different options that you could do, and maybe you can stitch some of these solutions together and make your own solutions. So if you come up with some creative solutions, let me know in the comments. Cheers.